Bad Bunny is without a doubt the biggest artist in all of music. He has undoubtedly been the biggest artist so far into the year, and there's legitimately no sign of him stopping. And honestly, I would be lying if I said that this didn't surprise me. So let's talk about how everything came to be. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, better known as Bad Bunny, is a Puerto Rican rap star, reggaeton artist, Latin trap star, singer, whatever you want to label him as, he's that. He's been making music for almost about a decade at this point. The first time I heard of him was in 2016 with the song Tu no vive así. And listen man, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the songs that come to mind when I think of 2016. The song is lyrically sharp, the beat is booming, Arcángel does his thing, but Bad Bunny stole the show. I think everybody in my school knew that whole song by heart, but especially the first verse. For me, that was the moment that I realized Bad Bunny had a lot of potential. To me, it was about whether or not he would deliver, and since I'm still talking about him, you can assume that he did deliver. For me, his superstar run starts in 2020, and I know some of you people are looking at that and thinking to yourself like, he was putting up hits way before that. And you're not wrong, he was putting up hits, especially in Latin America. But to me, 2020 was the year that Bad Bunny elevated his game to a whole different level. When Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana dropped, it felt like an event, and what made this special was that this was just Bad Bunny. It wasn't Bad Bunny and J Balvin, or Bad Bunny and Cardi B, or Bad Bunny and Drake, and it was still getting the same type of attention from a non-Latin American audience. And sure, there's Latino singers who did it before him, and I'm sure there will be in the future. However, Bad Bunny did it without having to change the language of his songs, and on top of that, he did it rapping. At that point, you're really handicapped because there are radio stations that don't play rap songs, and there are radio stations that don't play songs in Spanish. So when you're getting hype and attention like Bad Bunny did with Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana, it really speaks volume to how good he is. But now that it's 2022, you might be thinking to yourself, how was it that he became the biggest artist? And the truth is that he's technically been the biggest artist for a couple of years now, or very close to it. The only reason why I can't say that Bad Bunny was the biggest artist in 2020 definitely was because The Weeknd happened. After Hours was definitely the album that defined 2020. The dark sounds that the album carried at times reflected the reality of many. And although people don't say this now, After Hours is one of the greatest albums to ever be made. And well, yeah, quarantine didn't help Bad Bunny either, mainly because most of the songs on Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana are party songs. And well, yeah, people were not in the mood for partying, and it was kind of illegal at some points. And the reason why I don't say that he was the biggest artist in 2021 is honestly because I don't know who was. Like, for example, the most streamed artist was Bad Bunny, but I don't think that necessarily speaks to what type of year the artist had, especially when you consider that at the end of 2021, Bad Bunny didn't have the biggest song or the biggest album, the most streamed song or the most streamed album. I think The Weeknd might have actually gotten it like twice in a row, because After Hours had a big second run in 2021. I don't know why exactly. I imagine the Super Bowl had something to do with it, but Blinding Lights was still one of the biggest songs in the world during 2021. And because people were kind of getting tired of Blinding Lights by the end of the year, Save Your Tears had a better run in 2021. And The Weeknd isn't the only artist that can make the claim that he had the biggest year in 2021. There's also artists like Adele and Olivia Rodrigo that you could realistically make the case for.
You didn't mean what you wrote in that song about.
But now we're in 2022, and on top of being one of the most popular artists in the world, Bad Bunny has the most popular album of the year, reaching new heights that he hadn't reached before. When thinking of the most successful albums this year and how Bad Bunny differentiates from those albums, there's a lot of things that come into play. It's been 2 long years of constant issues when looking at the grand scheme of the world, and because of this, I think most people are over it, and those who are not are looking for an escape. So when we talk about music, the last 2 years have worked well in terms of complementing the new society that we were living in, and listening to music that kind of reflected what we were going through mentally, physically, or whatever the case might have been. But like I was saying, a lot of people are ready to move forward and kind of forget this stage of life, and that's where Un Verano Sin Ti works best. This album is for the most part a traditional summer album made for people to have fun and casually listen to, which is something that we really haven't had in a while as it relates to mainstream music. And on top of that, the lyrical content is something that's easy to get into, and if you don't know Spanish, I don't think it matters. Like, it matters to y'all, but like, not really. Let's be honest. I should also mention that the album does have its vulnerable moments. And going into the album, I thought it was going to be on the sadder side of things, because the album title in English literally means A Summer Without You, and the heart on the album cover, he looks sad as fuck. And in comparison to other albums that have been successful in 2022, this is more easy to get into despite the language barrier. Like, for example, Hello New World. The album doesn't really require an understanding of deep and thoughtful lyrics that help us understand the artist like a Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers did. Although, to be fair, that album was never made to be commercially successful, at least not on the level of Bad Bunny. But also, the album is full of sounds that are fun and carry a personality that can't be replicated, unlike Honestly Nevermind or Harry's House, which are more commercialized records that could be made by other artists. Although I will admit that I did think Honestly Nevermind was okay for what it was. If I was Will Smith, I would have slapped him with a stick. On the other hand, you have an album like Beyonce's Renaissance. I think this record does work in terms of being a fun, danceable record that doesn't really require that deep understanding of lyrics, but I do think that the audience that Beyonce was targeting to was way more niche than the one that Bad Bunny was targeting to. The same can be said about The Weeknd's Dawn FM record, which, although I thought it probably deserved more attention than what it got, the album wasn't made to be the mainstream monster that After Hours was. And this isn't to say that Bad Bunny's album was the perfect album, or that the record was dumbed down for everybody to enjoy, because the record is in Spanish. That wouldn't make any sense. What I'm really saying is that Bad Bunny captured lightning in a bottle this year. Either by luck or skill, he was able to recognize what people wanted and was able to deliver. And although we're living in the year of Bad Bunny, I am not sure that he is close to being done. We are 3 years into the decade, but I am pretty confident in saying that when we look back to the 2020s, Bad Bunny is going to be one of the defining artists of this decade. But yeah, shout out to Bad Bunny. And while we're at it, shout out to Jay Dilla. I'm gonna let the outro roll, and yeah.